कि आपकी बेटी की स्कैंडल में पकड़ी गई है और आप अभी 1 लाख रुपए दे दीजिए, तब हम आपकी बेटी को रिहा करेंगे। इस पर वो बहुत परेशान हो जाती हैं। जब घर आती हैं तो उनकी बेटी भी उनको घर पे मिलती है और 15 मिनट के बाद डिप्रेशन में हृदय गति रुक जाने के कारण उनको एसएन हॉस्पिटल लेके जाया जाता है, जहाँ पे उनको डेड डिक्लेयर कर दिया जाता है। बाद में पुष्पांजलि हॉस्पिटल भी लेके जाते हैं, जहाँ पे उनको डेड डिक्लेयर कर दिया जाता है। इसके बाद 1 तारीख को उनका क्रेमेशन कर दिया जाता है और आज इनके पति के द्वारा हमें सूचना दी गई और जब पूछने पर यह भी पता चला कि इनका पोस्टमार्टम नहीं कराया गया है और पुलिस को कोई पहले सूचना नहीं दी गई थी। इन सभी को लेके तहरीर हमने ले ली है। इस पर पूरी जांच करा रहे हैं, जहां से नंबर आया सारी चीज़ों की हम लोग डिटेल्स निकालेंगे और इस पर आवश्यक कार्रवाई की जाएगी।
24 को मेरी माताजी को तकरीबन 12 बजे एक कॉल आया जिसमें बोला गया कि आपकी बेटी एक सेक्स रैकेट में पकड़ी गई है। अगर आपको उसे छुड़वाना है तो 1 लाख रुपया मैं आपको नंबर देता हूँ, उस नंबर पे भेज दो। बिना कुछ किए आपकी बेटी अपने आप आपके घर आ जाएगी। तो मैंने मम्मी से बोला कि मम्मी आप मुझे नंबर दो। मम्मी ने मुझे नंबर दिया। नंबर जैसे ही मैंने देखा वो +92 से था। मैंने मम्मी को फ़ोन करके बोला कि ये जो नंबर है ये फ्रॉड नंबर है, आप मम्मी वो मत करो। और रास्ते में भी उनकी तबीयत सी ख़राब हो रही थी और जैसे ही वो अपने घर पर आने के बाद उनकी और तबीयत थोड़ी सी और ज़्यादा ख़राब हुई।
Let's go across to Arvind Kumar Jain, former DGP of Uttar Pradesh, and Abhishek Mitra, Director of the India Cybersecurity Solutions at this point. Thank you both gentlemen for joining me on a very, very serious issue at this point here. Arvind Jain, we had this conversation a few days ago in which you had said that it is important for residents to be more vigilant. But once again, we're looking at someone who's perhaps a senior citizen, someone who's not very savvy, and who's affection and love and affection towards her children, in this case a daughter, was being exploited, and to a point where she was so scared and so fearful for her daughter's safety that she lost her life in a heart attack. In such a scenario, how can we even prevent such things from happening?
I'm really sorry to hear about this incident. She was an assistant teacher and she was teaching in Achnera school in Agra. When she received the call, the poor mother, she must have felt very bad, and this aggravated the problem, and she collapsed later on and she died because of heart issue. Agra police, I will make a request that they should register a case against these fraudsters and they should catch them. They should be booked under very stringent sections, because such a digital arrest, I don't know why she got so bothered. She should have confirmed it from her son, from her daughter, whether the news is correct or false. She was assistant teacher. She must have been reading newspapers. She must have been seeing TV reports on so many channels. She should have realized that it is one of those fraud calls. But it is very unfortunate that she couldn't guess and she died in the process. Yeah, we feel really sorry. I also, when I learned about it, I felt really bad that poor teacher serving in a school, she died because of this. Very stern action is required against these scamsters. The case should be registered as early as possible, and arrest should be made, as they were made in the Lucknow case of PGI.
Okay. Abhishek Mitra, since you're someone who understands how cybersecurity works and how we can be staying ahead of it, at an era when scamsters are always a step or two ahead of the law enforcement and the law regulating agencies, here we saw the recent case of a CEO who was duped into paying 7 crores because he was having a WhatsApp call with someone who had a CBI logo pasted behind him while he was talking to the CEO. The sophistications, the levels, whether it be this scam, whether it be in the form of those FedEx scams or the Aadhaar misuse scams, which calls we get on almost on a daily basis. Now, you and I might be aware or educated or more aware of what's happening, so we may be trained to try and detect these scams calls and avoid them. But these scamsters just need a success rate of 1 out of 100 to be successful. How do we stop in a place? So coming back to my question, at a time when they're always a step or two ahead of us when it comes to their sophistication, How do we even nip this in the bud?
See, to be very exact in this sense of how to understand, and it's a game of psychology, as you can understand. Psychologically, every time
Yeah.
you think that like somebody, like as DGP sir told Arvindji, that how come a teacher gets so annoyed, and she would have at least tried to check that and cross verify that. To be very honest with you, I myself, my mom was duped into a loss of 75,000 scam, right? So she is supposed to not to she is a teacher as well. Now, coming to the point of psychology in that sense, see, once it's about our daughter or somebody in our family and something which costs to a reputation, we don't think of doing a verification done after once we listen to this kind of incident. We certainly take this up to our heart, and we feel very depressed. This is a kind of a thing which is happening day in and day out, and there will be more cases if this kind of things happen. Like I want to congratulate one thing at least, like cybercrime.gov.in had worked
Okay.
very greatly for Indian government. I personally have reported 75,000 loss. I got the entire amount back within that 48 hours. It was locked for 3 months, so the transactions couldn't be made from the same bank account, but at least it was reflected, and we were able to get that amount back, right? So these things, cybercrime, the efforts made by the central government is commendable, but yes, there need to be more awareness on the part of people like you, me, and more common people, right? I can tell you another incident that happened with one of the person whom I know very closely, and she works in the media as well. She was done the same thing, digital arrest. It was again a FedEx kind of a scam, caught in an airport, told to be related to some terrorist activity. Then she she turned on her camera. She went with the camera on. She went to the office as well. So this is kind of a threat to the organization she is also working, right? It's a kind of a threat. If somebody does it, the organizational security also comes at stake. So this is a kind of an organized crime which will happen in near future as well. Now we need to make sure that we need to ask that individual whoever is calling in WhatsApp or wherever, what is the identity? Can you share me a legitimate identity that you are calling from police authority or something? And definitely the son of
Yes.
late ma'am, he did it correctly, that he found out that it was from +92 number. Now we need to understand these WhatsApp calls are being done through there are multiple applications available over the internet. These applications provide digital numbers, right? So these digital numbers can be of anywhere else, right? It can be US, UK, and you can register WhatsApp on that. Now there is an Indian government law wherein if that number is allotted to some individual,
Okay.
right, that records are there. Now if the police does it
Okay.
on the right way, they can track back to.
Okay, I think we lost Abhishek Mitra at a critical time here, but he was coming up with very important reasons, ways in which we can detect a scam caller when we are being called. Let's go across to Arvind Kumar sir for the last word. Mr. Jain, if you can clear it to our viewers at this point, is there anything at all called a digital arrest under which so many of these fake calls are being made again and again to people saying that your son has been arrested, your daughter has been arrested in a sex racket, in a drug racket? Is there something called a digital arrest at all?
It's a total fake. It's 100% false. If somebody asks you, they just build up
Exactly.
psychological pressure on a person that you keep on sitting where you are sitting. You will not move from there. If you will move, arrest will be made of your relative or something, or whatever they are threatening. So this is called digital arrest. It's a new phenomena which we had not heard before, but it is just a psychological game which these scamsters are playing on innocent people, and they are fooling them and taking money from them. Because if you are not moving out from that place, you will not ring up your relatives. You will be talking to the scamster on the phone all the time. You will not go out. You will not discuss it with others. So that's why it's called a digital arrest, that you have been placed under arrest. You will sit there, you will not move, and if you will move, then arrest shall be made. So people should be wary of all this, and they should realize that these scamsters are
Okay.
adopting new tactics every day, and they should remain very cautious. No video calls. No video
All
calls
right.
should
Thank
be
you so.
received from unknown numbers.
Yes.
No
Yes.
voice calls should be received from unknown numbers. One should be very, very cautious in talking to such numbers. This is very important.
Absolutely.
I tell you,
Absolutely.
I have
No video
received
calls from
several
unknown
calls.
numbers, no voice calls.
I have received several messages
Yes.
from such numbers, 92, that your green gas
Right.
bill has been rejected. Check is lying in front of us. It has been rejected. You transferred so much of amount in such a bank account. I pulled him up. I pulled up that man. And whenever I get such messages with hi or something, I immediately block such numbers.
Absolutely. Arvind Kumar Jain and Abhishek Mitra, thank you so much for joining us with your perspectives here. Once again, at Mirror Now, all we are trying is to try and educate our viewers and try to make them more aware, and so that they can also make their loved ones aware of the various methods in which you can avoid being scammed.